Hello and welcome back to Off the Post. In today's episode, I'll be discussing the best transfer deadline day deals. But before that, as always, please like, comment, and subscribe. It's very much appreciated, and it goes a long way to help me build a small community on my channel. Okay, we've recently just hit 291 subscribers, and I just want to say a massive thank you for all the support on our most recent episodes, all the likes and the comments on social media as well. Definitely going to notice. And yeah, let's get straight into the episode, shall we? We're going to kick off with the first signing on our list, okay? And that's Jeremy Jacquet moving to Liverpool for 60 million. Now, for me, I do like the signing. It's definitely one for the future. That's what Liverpool fans will be telling you. You know, it's looking ahead for when Virgil van Dijk potentially leaves, when Ibrahim Konate leaves for free in the summer as well, maybe as well. So they definitely do need another centre back in there. However, do they need to be spending 60 million on an unproven player? Okay, he's coming from League One, from Rennes. Okay, he's going to be spending the remainder of the season at Rennes as well, so he's going to be getting more experience under his belt, I suppose, in League One. Okay, however, I'm pretty sure I read a stat where he's only played 31 games for Rennes in total. Is that worth 60 million? For me, it just definitely isn't. Okay, don't get me wrong, he's got huge potential. A lot of people coming out of France are saying he's the next best thing. I understand that. Again, I'm just not happy with the price tag. Is that the going rate these days? 60 million for an unproven, you know, player from Europe. I'm just not too sure. Don't get me wrong. He could be good next to Virgil van Dijk. He could be good next to uh, Ibrahim Konate if he stays in the Premier League at least. If it's him and Virgil van Dijk next season, let them to the main starting centre backs. I just don't know how well Liverpool will do, but just because, do they need another experienced centre back in there to replace Konate? I probably would go down that route of signing somebody else who's got a few more years under the belt, who's, experienced, fighting for those top four positions, fighting for those, Premier League titles, fighting for like a title in your own domestic league, if you like. Jeremy Jacquet at the moment is having a half decent season. He's currently sixth in League One. Okay, so he is sort of fighting for those top four, top five positions for those Champions League football. Again, it's in a league that's nowhere comparable to the Premier League. So will he come into that Liverpool side and make an instant impact? I'm not too sure, just because haven't they already signed a young Italian centre back for the future as well? Do they need another one? And at the end of the day, he probably is a good sign. I'm just not happy with the fee, and I don't know if he'll come in and make an instant impact straight away. I feel like they need more of a well-rounded, experienced centre back, 23 or 24, 25-year-old, someone of like calibre, you know what I mean? But anyway, let's move over to the next transfer on this list, okay? And it's Jørgen Strand Larsen moving from Wolves to Crystal Palace of 48 million, okay? That is a heavy price tag for a striker who's not really been scoring you the goals this season. He's in a relegation battle at the moment. It's pretty much destined that Wolves are going to get relegated to the Championship, so they are probably trying to make some money on him before they actually do get relegated. That's fair enough by Wolves standards. However, they've got an absolute steal for Jørgen Strand Larsen having a 48 million. For me, I almost want to say it's almost a little bit of a rip-off. He had one good season last season, scoring 14 goals. Don't get me wrong, he was very good last season. He was, exceptional at times. We haven't seen Larsen hit the same heights as he did last season. And will he do it again this season for Crystal Palace, in a Crystal Palace side that are also potentially in a relegation battle? Don't get me wrong, they have signed a few players in the January transfer window, haven't they? Brennan Johnson, Evan Gussard on loan with a £30 million buy option, and now they've just signed Jørgen Strand Larsen. They've made a lot of changes to that, front three, front four attacking line, if you like. Trying to replace Mateta, trying to replace Abriches that lost at the start of the season anyways. But for me, you replace them with three players that aren't really top quality standard and probably won't progress either that heavily. For me, out of the three signings, I do really like Brennan Johnson the most out of the three. But then again, he hasn't really had the best start to his life at Crystal Palace, has he, Brennan Johnson? And he was probably the most one that's guaranteed coming from Tottenham, scoring in that Europa League final, of course. For me, I thought he was going to hit the ground running straight away, and that just hasn't happened. So will Jørgen Strand Larsen, who's coming off a difficult season at the moment, will he come into that Crystal Palace side and hit the ground running as well? and all things considering as well, I feel like he was coming in to replace Jean-Philippe Mateta. Obviously, his move to AC Milan fell through because of him not being able to complete his medical and whatnot. But from that standpoint, now you've got an unhappy striker with your, new striker in the door as well. And what's going to happen with that whole situation? Is he going to kick up a fuss? Is Jørgen Strand Larsen going to be happy with his minutes if he's not starting ahead of Mateta as well? Which I'm just not too sure. I feel like this is definitely one for the future. It's definitely one. I feel like they probably tried to make this signing to replace Mateta, and I was hoping he would leave. I'm just not happy with the deal. 48 million is a lot of money for a player who only had one good season in the Premier League. He's definitely got similar attributes to Mateta. You probably don't have to, switch up your style that much. But when you've got 3 new attackers in there for Crystal Palace, will they build that connection? Will they build that relationship with the other players in the midfield, in the front 3 to sort of get you out of the hole, get you out of the relegation battle like they've done season after season? But yeah, it's just a real disappointing one for me, anyways. But let's move over now to the next 2 players on this list. It's Angel Gomez and Adam Armstrong signing for Wolverhampton Wanderers on transfer deadline day. Now, Angel Gomez is a loan deal with an option to buy, I'm pretty sure. But for me, I feel like he's gonna spend 6 months in the Premier League, and then Marseille will probably sell him to another Premier League club. I can't see Angel Gomez playing in the Championship. I feel like he's too good for being a Championship player, just because we've seen what he can do in the French league for Marseille, for other clubs as well. And even though he hasn't had the best start to life at Marseille, he's not really getting the minutes like he's wanted. That's why he's got his move to a Premier League club. I think if he can put in some half-decent performances, I reckon he probably will get another move to the Premier League next season. Now, moving over to Adam Armstrong, okay, I feel like Wolves signed him for like 7 million, I'm pretty sure, something like that. Very, very cheap fee from Southampton, I'm pretty sure, anyways. And this is pretty much guaranteeing your spot in the Championship. This is designing your team to be a Championship team, isn't he? Because I can't see Adam Armstrong competing in the Premier League week in, week out. For me, even though he's had decent spells here and there in the Premier League with Southampton over the years and whatnot, he's never really proven it at the Premier League level for me. I can't really see him being a good replacement for Jørgen Strand Larsen either. I just don't think he'll come in and hit the ground running. I don't think he'll come in and set the world alight either from that point of view. He might score a few goals here and there, but at the moment, let me know in the comments down below, Wolverhampton fans. Do you agree with me? Is this one setting up, building your team for the Championship? I don't think it's too harsh to say that at all. But anyways, let's move over to the last player on this list, and it's Tyrique George going on loan to Everton with an option to buy next season. Okay, obviously Everton had sort of forced into making this move because Jack Grealish has been injured for the whole season, okay, which is very disappointing because he was having a wonderful season at Everton, wasn't he? He was getting back to his best, from his time at Aston Villa and whatnot. Now they've signed a young winger from Chelsea in Tyrique George, and he has been impressive in spells, but again, it's only been in spells. Can he do it for a full 90 minutes? Can he be consistent? Can he be the player that Everton need him to be? Can he step up and, get him the goals and assists that Everton need? Like, they were missing from Jack Grealish, what he was providing for them. For me, I do like the plan. I'm very optimistic about this deal. I very much do like this transfer. However, is he going to be the player that what they need? Is he going to be consistent enough to get him the goals and the assists? I'm not too sure. Of course, he's predominantly a left winger, but for Chelsea he's mainly used as a striker and on the right hand side as well. So it's definitely a good move for him. And if it does go well, Everton do have the option to buy him in the summer. And I reckon get him out of Chelsea, get him into Everton, and I feel like you'll probably see a different player in Tyrique George. I could see him definitely pushing on and becoming a mainstay in that Everton side, just because whether that's having Tyrique George on the left, whether that's Tyler Dibbling on the right hand side as well, those two could be definitely good players to have for Everton in the future. Okay, David Moyes could definitely work wonders on a Tyrique George, and for me, I could definitely see this one being an absolute bargain of the transfer window next season at least. Anyways, the option to buy can't be that much money anyways, can it? It'd probably be like 30 million max, something like that, because he's a highly rated prospect, isn't he, Tyrique George? And he has scored a few goals here and there for Chelsea, but at Everton I really feel like he's going to shine. But so watch out for that one, Everton fans, anyways. But yeah, let's end the video with some questions. How would you feel about Jeremy Jacquet to Liverpool? Is 60 million too much money for an unexperienced centre back? Is it looking for the future? Can he play next to Virgil van Dijk? Is he sort of replacing Ibrahim Konate? Or should I have signed someone a little bit more experienced? How do you feel about Jørgen Strand Larsen moving to Crystal Palace for 48 million, breaking that club record fee? Is it too much money? Is it a massive gamble considering he's only had one good season in the Premier League? How do you feel about Angel Gomez and Adam Armstrong to Wolves? Will they keep Wolves in the Premier League, or is it just setting up for the Championship? How do you feel about Tyrique George going to Everton? Can he sort of replace Jack Grealish, who's been injured for the rest of the season? Can he sort of come in and get the goals and the assists that David Moyes will be expecting from him? Or will he just be, an option, or will he just be a rotation option from the bench? Yeah. Before that, as always, please like, comment, and subscribe. It's very much appreciated, and it goes along with having me build a small community on my channel. We've recently just hit 291 subscribers, and I just want to say a massive thank you for the recent support on our most recent episodes. All the likes and the comments on social media as well. Definitely doesn't go unnoticed. And yeah, I really do hope you have a good rest of your day, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.